Hello everyone, good afternoon. We're coming to the end nearly, so I promise you I'm going to be very short and hopefully very sweet. Okay. So let's start by letting me introduce the age, because I think we are only 3 months old here. So what are we? Right. So some of you may already know Fast Booking. We've been around 18 years and we have been supporting hotels in their digital marketing strategies. That's our expertise. And now we have, our investors have actually acquired another company, technology company, which is #1 in Europe called Pro, and together we have become the Edge. Our mission is to give hotels the access to technology solutions that answer their needs. Very quickly, this is what we do. We are building around 4 drivers: products and technology. That's what we're based on. And then commercials, best service locally and globally. And then partnerships. We work with everyone. So today, I'm going to talk about the guest journey. Travel, as we know, into our hospitality industry, to us, it is no longer about the destination. It is about the booking journey. So what is the booking journey? I think before me, a few speakers before me have already touched on a lot about how a guest makes the booking for hotels. So very quickly, just to share with you, thinking, that's how it starts. Last year, my husband and I, we were watching a documentary about Hitler. And it talked about him living in this place called Virtue's Garden. And there was this mountain, where on top of the mountain is a very nice restaurant. And the people of Hitler, they wanted to please him, so they built this express elevator from below the mountain all the way to the top, a few hundred feet, express lift. And up there, the view was breathtaking. So we saw the documentary, we started thinking. And after the thinking, we started searching. How do we search? Flights, train, hotels, restaurants, activities, all about the destination. That's the searching part. And then we moved on to comparing. So we know that there were 3 or 4 hotels that we like, and that's where we want to stay. So we started to compare prices, and finally we book. So early on, we heard from Google and a few others that every user has their own preferences. So I'm using celebrities here, different celebrities from different background, different gender. And so the way they search is different, and sometimes they may get distracted. So hoteliers, what do you have to do to capture their attention so that they will book your hotel? So this is what you need to do. The digital marketing strategies have to go along the line of the way they have their thinking, searching, comparing, and booking. So when they were thinking, you need to be there to pre-target. They have not chosen a destination. They have not decided where they want to go. So you've got to be there, be visible. And then when they are searching, usually they go onto Google and they start searching, maybe generally, I don't know. And you've got to be there again. So you need to embark on a search marketing campaign. Then they may have decided, like I said, 3 or 4 hotels, those are the things that you want to go for. And you want to be there so that they can compare prices. That's the meta search. So traditionally, the meta searches were Skyscanner, hotels combined, we go Kayak. But today, there is Google. I'll talk more about that later on. So when they're comparing, again, be there so that they can see you and they can see the prices against you, against the OTAs. And finally, they make the booking, hopefully with your hotel. So let me share with you some numbers. These are interesting numbers. Look at the organic. In the last 3 years, organic bookings kind of steady. There was a small dip in 2017, and then it went back up. Then we look at search marketing. Search marketing will be things like Google AdWords and Yahoo and all that. Meaning you buy keywords when your guests could be searching. And it is also fairly flat for the last 3 years. Then the interesting thing is, look at meta search marketing. It's growing steadily. Why is it growing steadily? As I said earlier on, the traditional meta searchers like Skyscanner and hotels combined were the ones that you look at comparisons. But because of Google, and why Google? Because Google knows that people are searching from the keywords, and then they progress onto this Google Hotel Ads to show you the price comparison. And because of that, And because most people are using Google to search, they can see the difference in prices and they tend to click there. And that's why you can see the search engine marketing is only remaining steady. It's not growing that much. But the focus has been shifted to the right-hand side where the price comparison is. And that's why you can see meta search marketing is growing. And then display marketing, 3 years ago it was quite low. And then you see how it shot up in the last 2 years. That has to do with Google Hotel Ads as well. Because the display marketing are banner ads where we can retarget the guests when they come to your website and they may not have booked. And so we target, we follow them, and then we remind them to come back to book, and that one is also generating quite good results. So these are the trends in the last 3 years. What can you do to get more conversions? Let us start by looking at your website. We're going digital now. In the old days, you can spend thousands of dollars to print brochures. And how do your guests book you? Usually through a travel agent. This is years ago. But today, every single one of our hotels will have a website. So, your website is a revenue generating tool. So invest in a good website, okay? First of all, maybe you want to look at the languages. If you have enough people from a certain nationality that's coming to your hotel, so much so that you will invest in having a staff that speaks the local languages, for example, Korean. Why not have a Korean website? It doesn't cost that much more. The problem is, you tend to stop there. You build a website in a different language, thinking that that will cater to their needs. But hey, when they visit your website and they find information and they want to book, guess what? They need a booking engine that also corresponds with the language that they have been looking at, right? So many booking engines are able to offer that. However, when you load your rates, do you load your rate plans in that native language as well? Think about it. This is where you may lose customers, because if the experience is not seamless, if they're not able to find what they're looking for, that's how they drop out. We heard from the earlier speakers, this is what's happening. So make sure that your rate plans are also in the native language if you offer that. Now, your website is supposed to be constructed for conversion. Make sure that it does that. So, we saw earlier on, the organic rankings are still generating conversions, generating bookings. So make sure that your website is SEO, optimized, all right? And when you say SEO, it doesn't just mean the content, it also means the navigation. Then we look at the social media relations. If you're not on the social media, do it now. Facebook, Twitter. Most importantly, your hotels should be Instagrammable. Everybody likes to post pictures. Make sure they're Instagrammable. Your content has to be concise, easy for your guests to find information in 2 or 3 clicks. More than that, sorry, they are gone. And you can build link buildings. It is good to have references from other websites. However, be careful that you do not lead your customers away from your website and they don't come back. So be mindful of that. So do all of this to make sure that your website converts. We talked a lot about speed earlier on, and speed is important. Remember, if your guests cannot find information in the 2, 3 clicks, they leave. But similarly, if your website does not load quickly, in 5 seconds or less, again, they will leave. So what affects the content? What affects the website speed? One is the content, images, large images and all that. Videos can slow down the loading. But also, have you thought about the servers, where your website is hosted, and also content distribution network that pushes data to the local users. That would help to ease this problem. Think about that. So your website should have easy, clear call to action, and having the reputation management display, your reputation score display helps to give trust to the guests so that it will encourage them to stay on and make a booking from there. Having special offers is nice, and ensure that you have very clear explanation of your rate plans. Remember, people will leave if they're not sure what they're getting into. So make sure that you have very, very clear description of your offers as well as the price point. Now, having this price point that is pulled directly from the booking engine ensures that this is always available. The last thing you want is to put a from price and then your guest goes in and check. One day, not available. Second day, not available, and so on. Second try, I can tell you, they will leave. So this is very important. And don't forget the call to action as well. Next thing, how do people search? We all have a mobile phone, right? This is the trend now. More than 50%, in fact 69% people are using the mobile phone to do searches. Make sure that your website is mobile friendly. Mobile rules. Your website needs to be mobile responsive. And that is how it's going to be, how it looks like for a mobile responsive website. So some of you are still having a desktop website and then a mobile website. This is old, all right? You've got to make sure that you deliver a consistent message, consistent branding on both desktop going on to the mobile. So this is how it should look like, so that you can ensure a consistent branding, so that because when they are searching on the mobile and then they go to the desktop to book, right now this is what's happening, they do not have to lose, they do not have to relearn the navigation from a mobile to a desktop. More importantly, last year Google announced that they would index websites based on their mobile friendliness. So this is so important now. And if you want to check your website, if they're mobile friendly, this is the website that you can go and try and put in your URL and see whether your website is mobile friendly. And that is going to be indexed by Google more than the desktop. Okay? If you embark on email marketing, and this is something that you tend to forget, so email, going out to your guests, make sure that they are also mobile responsive as well. So at this stage, I'm going to take you on a sneak peek into the future. How many of you here use Alexa or Google Voice, Siri? Only a handful? So let me demonstrate to you how simple it is to use your voice. Hey Siri, what's the weather today?
It's currently partly cloudy and 29 degrees in Marina. Expect cloudy skies starting tonight. Temperatures will be fairly consistent, averaging about 28 degrees.
See what I'm doing? I've just demonstrated how easy it is to use your mobile phone. And every one of you here uses a mobile phone. This is what's going to happen next. 50% of searches next year is going to be using voice. Not only that, 1/3 of these searches is going to be done without a screen. So when I ask Siri a very simple question, what's the weather outside? We are all been here the whole day, we don't know what's going on outside. And Siri was very, very detailed. It gives me the temperature, it tells me what it's going to be. It's going to be cloudy and all that. So it's very, very precise. And this is what's going to be happening come 2020. Most of us is going to be using the mobile phone to search. Using your voice to search. And here are some data. The green part is the traditional use of a telephone or mobile phone. The blue are the new users. And not surprisingly, look at that. Answer a simple question. 83% are already using the phone to ask a simple question, such as what I did just now, how's the weather? And then traffic directions, a lot of us are doing that already, 70%. Look for a place to eat, restaurants, 55%. Lastly, research product before purchase, almost half. This is what people are using the mobile phone for. No longer just to call someone or send a text, an email, or even set an alarm. This is, everyone is doing that already. So, what are our consumers expecting today, the digital consumers? Constant engagement, right? They're always looking at your website. trying to go onto social media, engaging with you, you need to engage with them through these methods. 24/7 presence. Right? Your team, your reservations team, is not able to do that. Your website is able to do that. So make sure you optimize your website. And lastly is the speed. Remember, about 5 seconds or less, that's the attention span. So keep everything going quickly and make sure that your content and all that can be delivered within a few seconds. So, I promise I will be fast and I'll try to be sweet. So this is my takeaway. You need to be visible every step of the way. When they're thinking, when they're searching, when they're comparing, and finally remind them to come back to your website to book. This is so important. Next, think about mobile. Mobile is going to be the way, no longer desktop. And finally, be ready for the voice. Voice booking is already a reality today. Google has already come up with Book on Google. I don't know if you have heard of that. Book on Google is already available. And Book on Google is the technology behind voice booking. We have actually done voice booking in the US. It's already happening. We've done a test, successfully booked a hotel room without a desktop, without having to punch anything in. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.